grab some coffee, and stay a while, because tonight, we're diving into a mystery that's been orbiting our planet for decades. In December 1998, the Space Shuttle Endeavour soared into the cosmos on a historic mission, STS-88, the first step in assembling the International Space Station. It was a moment that would change the course of human spaceflight forever. But something else happened during that mission, something that continues to puzzle and fascinate us to this day. As astronauts worked tirelessly in the unforgiving vacuum of space, their cameras captured an image of an object that defied explanation. It wasn't part of the shuttle, it wasn't part of the station, and it certainly didn't look like anything we'd seen before. NASA quickly labeled it as a thermal blanket, a mundane piece of equipment lost to the void. But to many observers, it was something far more significant, possible evidence of an ancient presence watching us from above. STS-88 was truly a mission for the history books. Commander Robert Cabana led a crew of 6, including veteran spacewalker Jerry Ross. Their task was monumental: to begin construction of humanity's first permanent outpost in orbit by connecting the American Unity module with Russia's Zarya module. For days on end, these brave men and women pushed themselves to the limit. They installed intricate components, linked vital systems, and laid the groundwork for a new era of international cooperation high above our blue marble. It was a testament to human ingenuity and perseverance. But amidst the triumphs, there was one incident that stood out, an anomaly that would spark decades of speculation. During a routine extravehicular activity, a piece of equipment reportedly drifted away from the shuttle. NASA maintains it was nothing more than a thermal blanket, destined to tumble through orbit until Earth's gravity eventually pulled it down. At least that's the official story. The photographs from STS-88 tell a different tale, one that's far more unsettling. Against the ethereal curve of Earth's horizon, we see a dark, jagged form. It's angular, asymmetrical, almost metallic in appearance. Whatever this object is, it bears little resemblance to any thermal blanket we've ever seen. From one angle, it takes on an uncanny likeness to an otherworldly craft, complete with what appear to be wings or panels jutting out into space. Shift your perspective, and suddenly it transforms into something even more bizarre. A sleek, alien probe silently observing our world. When these images first surfaced, they spread like wildfire across the nascent internet. UFO enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists alike seized upon them as irrefutable proof of something they'd long suspected: the existence of the Black Knight satellite, a mysterious object said to have been orbiting Earth for millennia, long before we had the technology to put anything in space ourselves. To truly grasp why so many connected this photo to the legend of the Black Knight, we need to take a journey through time, examining a series of strange occurrences that span more than a century. Our story begins in 1899, when the brilliant but eccentric inventor Nikola Tesla reported picking up unusual repeating signals during his experiments with radio waves in Colorado. Tesla, ever the visionary, wondered if these might be messages from intelligent beings, perhaps even Martians trying to make contact. Fast forward to the 1920s, and we find amateur radio operators across the globe reporting bizarre phenomena known as long-delayed echoes. Their transmissions would bounce back seconds after being sent, as if some unknown object in space was capturing and retransmitting them. The plot thickens in 1954, when a prominent UFO researcher made the startling claim that the US Air Force had detected not one, but 2 satellites in orbit around Earth. The implications were staggering. This was years before the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, the first human-made satellite. Then came 1960, a year that saw US Navy radar operators tracking a dark, unidentified object circling our planet. Newspapers of the era ran sensational headlines about a mystery satellite, fueling public imagination and speculation. Over time, these seemingly disparate events began to coalesce into a single, captivating narrative: the Black Knight satellite. Believers described it as an alien probe of immense age, silently watching humanity's progress from high above for thousands of years. So when the STS-88 photographs emerged in 1998, they appeared to be the smoking gun, tangible, visual evidence that the Black Knight was more than just a myth. NASA, however, has steadfastly maintained a far more prosaic explanation for the object in those now infamous images. According to the space agency, what the cameras captured that day was exactly what it appeared to be to the astronauts who witnessed it firsthand: a piece of space debris. More specifically, a thermal blanket accidentally released during the station's assembly. In fact, astronaut Jerry Ross, the very man responsible for losing the blanket, has gone on record about the incident. He described watching it drift away with a sense of frustration, knowing they'd have to redo some of their work as a result of the mishap. The agency points out that the blanket's reflective properties could account for its strange appearance in the photos. Depending on how sunlight struck its surface, it might appear pitch black in some images and silvery in others. And in the harsh, unfiltered light of space, where deep shadows contrast with blinding glare, even a simple piece of crumpled material can take on bizarre, almost alien forms. For skeptics and NASA officials alike, there's no real mystery here. It's simply a case of human error, magnified by the power of imagination and the allure of the unknown. And yet, something about those photos continues to gnaw at our collective consciousness. Why does the object appear so structured, so deliberately designed? How do we explain the apparent edges, angles, and surfaces that seem to resemble wings or fins? Perhaps most intriguingly, why did this particular image surface at precisely the right moment? Just as the internet was coming into its own, just as UFO culture was experiencing a massive resurgence in popular media? Was it mere coincidence, or something more? Some researchers have put forth an interesting counterpoint to NASA's explanation. They argue that if the black night truly exists, we shouldn't expect it to resemble a sleek, polished flying saucer from science fiction. After millennia in orbit, wouldn't it be far more likely to appear worn, battered, and utterly alien in its design? In that light, the strange asymmetrical form captured in the STS-88 photos takes on a new significance. If this were an ancient probe that had weathered thousands of years in the unforgiving environment of space, might it not look exactly like the object we see in those images? Whether rooted in fact or fiction, the legend of the Black Knight has undeniably taken on a life of its own in our cultural imagination. It's been featured prominently in television shows like Ancient Aliens, spawned countless books and documentaries, and become a staple of late-night YouTube deep dives. Digital artists have created elaborate reconstructions, envisioning it as a massive alien vessel of unfathomable complexity. Even NASA's own photo archives, which label the images with the decidedly mundane description STS-88 thermal blanket, continue to fuel curiosity and speculation. Because when people look at that picture, they see something more than just a lost piece of equipment. They see possibility, mystery, the unknown. So what really transpired during STS-88? Did a simple accident send a thermal blanket drifting off into the cosmic night? Or did the Endeavour's cameras inadvertently capture evidence of an ancient satellite, one that has been silently observing humanity's progress for centuries? NASA insists it was nothing out of the ordinary. True believers maintain it was everything we've suspected all along. But the truth? Well, perhaps that's still out there, floating in the darkness above our heads. So what do you think? Did the cameras aboard Endeavour simply catch a glimpse of everyday space junk? Or did they reveal the presence of a visitor, one that was never meant to be seen? As you ponder that question, remember to keep your eyes on the night sky. Because sometimes the greatest mysteries aren't found in the deepest oceans or the farthest corners of our world. Sometimes they're right above us, hidden in plain sight among the stars.